Just in, Senator Cynthia Lummis says that the crypto market structure bill could pass in 2 weeks. But we have to hold that excitement because key senators are already warning that a crucial delay into the new year is now a real possibility. The tension in DC has never been higher, and yet the market is beginning to tick up because major players are convinced that after being deeply oversold, the entire crypto market, and especially XRP, have officially flipped back to a sustained and bullish trend after the last few days' price action. And many XRP investors have a good reason to be, because Wall Street is flocking to XRP's new spot ETF, which is shattering records to become the fastest to reach $1 billion in assets under management since Ethereum. This is a total game changer. However, we'd like to see it continue to push price up for new highs, especially when the good news won't stop coming, as now US banks can officially broker Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana trades for all of their clients. Millions more Americans are now accessing crypto, which will create an unprecedented wave of pent-up regulated demand. So what does this institutional tidal wave mean for your portfolio, and what are the specific dates we need to watch out for in Washington as well as on the charts? We're diving into this chaos to hopefully simplify it for you and give you a better outlook into what to do to prepare with your portfolio. And a quick word from today's sponsor, I Trust Capital. If you're looking to roll over a 401k or create a new Roth IRA or an IRA and invest in any one of these cryptos on this list in a self-managed way through any of these tax advantaged accounts, then go ahead and check out that link for I Trust Capital in the description or bio below. And as always, my friend, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the Bull Runners channel. If you're new here, my name is Paul, and you can find me on Twitter or X at PauliDeFi, PauliDeFi. The first thing I want to cover is the fact that XRP really is doing well from an ETF level. In other words, the broader market has cooled off. However, ETFs have posted their largest weekly inflows ever, to the tune of 289 million in a single week, with 6 weeks inflows now representing nearly 30% of the total assets under management. Now, obviously, you don't get these types of inflows if institutions aren't at least interested or behind it, because retailers don't have access to that type of capital. Someone's making some big decisions. Now, what's even more interesting is the fact that that is just off the tail of the largest crypto asset by market cap, Bitcoin, which saw 461 million in asset inflows. And here's what's super interesting. Look at the market cap differential between a Bitcoin at $1.8 trillion and XRP only sitting at $127 million. In other words, the inflows for XRP are quite astounding, considering it is almost 19 times smaller than Bitcoin in terms of total market cap. And so with all of this demand from a spot ETF level, it is quite interesting that XRP is still struggling to break for new highs, considering it is currently sitting at $2.11, just popped off that low at $1.99, $2 being a major range support. And many people believe that the entire crypto market is oversold, much more XRP considering all of the inflows. So the real question is, are these spot inflows going to affect the price of XRP moving forward? And this would make sense considering the markets have been getting hammered a lot recently, even though when you look from a macro perspective, everything has gotten better for crypto markets and regulation and legislation. Consider Cynthia Lummis, one of the largest proponents of crypto, talking about the crypto market structure bill, which is set to pass in a few weeks with a few hurdles ahead as well. So at this point, it's not a question of if, but when, and what will be left in or taken out before market structure passes. But virtually all Democrats and Republicans are on the side of crypto now. The real question is, how difficult is it going to be for crypto companies to operate and innovate in the United States? And I would argue they're going to make it easier and easier and easier. That said, it's likely not going to pass this week, even though Donald Trump wanted that and has been pressuring Congress to pass it. Eleanor Tourette posted that another senator, Mark Warner, told her that getting this crypto market structure markup done before Christmas break will be very be hard because they're still waiting on the White House language for two major pieces of the bill, ethics and quorum. In other words, there is likely going to be a delay into the new year now, which seems more and more like a possibility for the banking committee. So maybe this is truly just the calm before the storm, as we're also about to get another interest rate cut, which should stimulate the economy even greater of at least 25 basis points on Wednesday. And then when you combine that with the fact that the US bank regulator clears all national banks to facilitate crypto transactions, and crypto is truly in business. In other words, what this letter allowed from the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, or the OCC, is essentially to allow banks to act as principals in a crypto trade with one customer while simultaneously entering an offsetting trade with another. Now, this might not sound revolutionary. However, this is a crucial step in crypto being adopted and looking more and more like a traditional market, because the structure mirrors riskless principal activity of TradFi. And what makes this so exciting is that now we have the head of the OCC, Jonathan Gould, stating that crypto firms seeking a federal bank charter should be treated the same as traditional financial institutions. And I can assure you, never in my short history of being in crypto over the last decade did I see something like this coming, considering Operation Choke Point 2.0 in the prior administration made it extremely difficult for crypto to thrive or even do business inside of the United States, which pushed them all offshore. Now it's likely that they're all going to want to move back onshore under the Trump administration. And so with all of that said, crypto has officially entered its Netscape moment as an industry. If anyone on this video remembers the earlier days of the internet, we didn't have this much contention or opposition from regulators. And obviously regulators are always going to be involved in some of the greatest technological advances. However, finally, crypto is at that point. According to Paradigm co-founder Matt Huang, as steady progress in blockchain infrastructure and the rise of regulated investment products drive a new wave of institutional adoption, which means in many ways crypto is not going to be as exciting as it was in the past when it was like the Wild West and you can make $1 million tossing $1,000 at some random meme coin. Those days are actually over, but this is good for the adoption of major crypto assets like XRP among institutional investors. And if you adopt the same philosophy and idea as Huang, talking about Netscape and the iPhone moment, apparently it's working bigger than ever before, far beyond our wildest dreams, both the institutional parts and the cypherpunk parts, which come down to transparency and privacy. And so the real question becomes, did we bottom out in the crypto market? As you can see here, we've dumped now twice back down to about $2 on XRP, where it became a major support. Now, since that point in time, we have failed to break for new local highs. As you can see, our prior high came in at about the $2.21 range. The most recent high came at about $2.17, currently sitting at $2.11. And so sometimes when in doubt, it pays to zoom out. And you can see that we are still in a technical downtrend. However, the moves to the downside are becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. And although we've sold off at this trend line right here, it's very much possible that we put in a new higher low right here, or even a double bottom, which came in on December 1st and yet again just a few days ago. So a break above this $2.18 range would likely take us back up to at least $2.50 to $2.55, where XRP would need to break above this major range of resistance before being ready to blast off for new highs. So it doesn't look like this is going to happen this December, considering we're not even going to get that market structure bill. I don't see any other major events or catalysts in the near horizon that could push this price that far. But I do believe with all of the ETF demand and institutional adoption, it is possible we start trending back to the upside alongside Bitcoin, as again, this thing is not going to trade against Bitcoin. Both are very correlated because they are crypto assets in a risk on market. However, it is also very refreshing to see that off of that major low, volume was very below average and is now starting to trend to the upside for these new local highs. It also helps that we are getting a bullish divergence. As you can see, the price has consistently been dumping for new lows since the October 10th collapse in crypto, while at the same time we're putting in higher lows on the RSI. So whenever you see something like this, a divergence in the trend of this market being oversold, it's very much possible that we are, and that this thing starts to rally back up to about 250. Now, I'm not saying that this would be the actual bottom in a prolonged bear market. It's very much possible also we are in a bear market and we simply see a retrace before selling off for even greater lows. What I am saying is that the odds are in the favor to the upside right now, which means I will be buying this key pivot point and breakout for a move to the upside, and then I'll be watching the price closely. And if we get slammed back down from 250 on lower, then I would get out with some minor profits and watch it as it retests what would be a resistance that would become a support at 225. So the 225 range would become my support if we can get above there. And right now the RSI is painting a very positive picture for XRP alongside all of the positive macro and crypto news that we're seeing. So we'll see how things go into that FOMC interest rate decision. And that is it for the video, folks. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to the channel and also check out Altcoin Pro University, your one-stop shop to help you become a crypto millionaire. I can't guarantee those results, but we've had a lot of people see a lot of success in this community, which is why we've been able to maintain over 900 plus members for almost over a year now. And that's because we actually help them get results in the crypto market. And I would argue in all markets, whether the market's bullish or bearish, there are tons of ways to take advantage of the crypto market, whether it's through DeFi yield opportunities, whether it's through airdrops, specific altcoin picks, or even learning technical analysis to trade, which I host a technical analysis call every single Tuesday live for many of our community members who have learned a lot about how to look at a chart, understand a chart, indicators, and so much more. So if any or all of that sounds interesting to you, alongside all of our courses and guides and expert calls, then be sure to check out Altcoin Pro University. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.